why don't you believe in God? I feel like
And
somebody's
since
putting
when?
ideas in your head.
And
Yes,
since
when
when?
did this shift happen?
I haven't believed in God
And
since
who's
like
responsible
ninth
for
grade.
it? What?
It's not a responsible thing.
No.
I just don't believe that there's a God that exists. I think the majority of religion, personally, came up from a long time ago, and it was just a propaganda tool used by different people to be able to create different narratives and be able to control different groups of people.
Hello, namaste. Zarna Garg here with the Zarna Garg Family Podcast. So excited to have 4 Gargs in the house. Zoya is finishing up her college requirements. She cannot join us today. But I have in the house my husband of 26 years, a Shalab Garg, Wall Street veteran. My son, who is a freshman in college, Bridge Garg, although almost done with freshman year. Oops. And my little one, my middle schooler, Veer Garg, who's also in the house. We have a very riveting, interesting topic today. I had a recent conversation with somebody else's kid, and that made me think this should be a podcast topic. I am not sure how my kids are going to take it, how my husband's going to take it, but we're going to find out in real time because they don't know what the topic is. So, the topic today is, do you believe in God? Do we believe in God? Do we as a family believe in God? Are we religious? Do we have any traditional rituals? Do we have superstitions that we believe in? Where do we stand on the whole God spectrum? Who wants to go first?
I mean, first of all, we should define that we are a Hindu family, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay to
Right.
say? We may not be religious, but we are born all, you and I, Zarna and I are from different ethnicities within the Hindu religion, but nonetheless, we are Hindus, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we have not raised our children, Zoya is not here, but the other two, all three of them, as religious themselves, right? Kids?
Yeah. I think that whether or not you believe in God isn't super, well, it is important, but I think that believing that there is a figure always watching you is super important because it can better you as a person.
So who do you think is watching you?
I don't think about it. I don't think about who's watching me. I just think there is somebody watching me and I should try and do better deeds because of it. And just
Wait,
be a
who
better
taught
person.
you that, Veer? Who taught you that?
Nobody taught me that. I've just thought about
I
it.
feel like that's something I would teach you.
How would you teach him that?
Yeah.
I have to disagree here. As probably the only Garg I think in the family, I do not believe in God or a God or some sort of like Hindu God. I grew up our family is Hindu, but that doesn't make me necessarily Hindu. In the fact that I don't believe in the truth of Hinduism or believe that
What?
there are gods.
When did that happen, Bridge? I
What are
didn't
you
even know.
talking about?
What? I don't believe in God. Give your
No,
reason.
and you don't believe in Hinduism and you're not Hindu?
If Hinduism is defined by believing in the same things that all Hindus believed in and all the virtues that come with it, I believe there's strong values that should be followed by Hinduism and other religions, but I don't believe in. I wouldn't classify myself as a Hindu because I don't believe in God, so that wouldn't make me a Hindu. Why don't you believe in God?
Yeah, why don't you believe in God? I feel like somebody's
And since
putting
when?
ideas in your head.
And
Yes,
since
when
when?
did this shift happen?
I haven't believed in God
And who's
since, like, ninth
responsible for
grade.
it? What?
It's not a responsible thing.
No.
I just don't believe that there's a God that exists. I think the majority of religion, personally, came up from a long time ago, and it was just a propaganda tool used by different people to be able to create different narratives and be able to control different groups of people. Now, I do agree with a lot of what's being told within many of the religions. There's some great values. I always tell people, I love thy neighbor. I like that people are supposed to support other people. I like that. I believe that karma is a great way to guide your life, and you should abide by karma because I think it's wonderful to, want to do better so that better things happen to you. But I don't necessarily believe that there's a God. I don't think there's some sort of.
So when you get married, are you going to sit on a horse to fetch your bride or not?
Is that a thing?
That's a Hindu thing, right? The boy sits on a horse.
Did you sit on a horse?
I did sit on a horse.
I'm not going to sit on a horse.
I don't think that's any definition of Hinduism or of having a god. That's like, I don't know, this is a
I mean,
sidetrack.
there's a Hindu way of being, right? Which is, you don't believe in violence. You do, do you believe in all of those things or not?
Wait, Mom. I believe in it, but not because there's a God in the sky that says, "Oh, you need to believe in these things." Like that's what it is if you want to like live eternally. I believe in it. A lot of what people make religion to be, and the reason why atheism is like considered not, I don't know, practical, is because they say that you have no idea what the difference between good and bad is. But I fundamentally disagree with that. There are so many ways to tell what the difference between good or bad is. If you are hurting someone or causing someone physical slash emotional pain, that is bad. It's as simple as that. There's not that much more like
Oh, okay, let's
levels
say
to it than
if
that.
you married a non-Indian girl, will you get married in a church if she was Christian?
I wouldn't get married in a church the same way I wouldn't get married in a temple. Both I would not do.
Uh, hold on. There are many, many Hindu gods. Do you believe in any of them?
Well, first of all, there's many Hindu gods, but we are technically a monotheistic religion, right? Based off what I learned in temple, like there are many different gods, but they're all classified under one.
Yes,
Like, yeah,
right, right. But we grew up like having a little Ganesh in the house, a little Krishna in the house.
we
You're
still have.
telling you're
Yeah,
telling me that none of that meant anything personally to you?
to me, no. I just don't. I think for me, it gives me a reminder that when I look at religion, I look at values. I say, okay, when I see that, I think, okay, let me make sure I reinforce my good values, which I do appreciate from religion. But I don't think, oh, that's Ganesh. If I don't pray to Ganesh every night and say, Ganesh, please make me a better person, then my life will become better or it'll become worse.
Okay, tell me something. What stops you from saying I'm a religious person? Are there any people in your friend group who say they're religious, or is it just not cool to be religious anymore?
I think there are. I mean, I know a lot of people that are religious. When I got into college, in high school, there were a lot less people that were religious. In high school, a lot of people were not religious. They didn't believe in God, or if they did, I don't know, certain things would happen. They would just be like, it was mixed.
Hmm.
And then when I got to college, a lot more people were religious. I met a lot more people from different areas of the country that were their religion was definitely tied to that area. And that's another thing I have with religion is that because there's so many different religions, people just always have their own separating opinions. People clash over it. I mean, one of the biggest reasons people fight wars, civil battles, just family disputes is because of like religion. When people believe in different things or support different causes, it gives reason to clash because everyone believes that their reason slash cause is the correct one. When in
But what if
reality,
you are on the side of the correct one?
that's not.
There's no,
There's
yeah.
what 4,000 religions. Like what makes you believe you're on the right side? Because you grew up in India, you think Hinduism is the correct religion, but because somebody grew up in Alabama, they think Christianity is the correct religion. It literally all matters from where you're born and where you grow up in. But it honestly has nothing to do with like, it's not like there is one. There could be one correct one, but I don't believe so.
Veer, what about you? Do you agree with what your brother is saying?
No. I
No.
believe in God. I believe in God heavily too. I feel like in the last 2 years it's changed a lot.
What changed it?
I feel like I've wanted to become a better person, and I feel like it's the same way. Even if God isn't real, I think believing in him is still beneficial, because if you constantly had the FBI having cameras on you, you wouldn't want to go out robbing somebody. Like if somebody's always watching you, you won't do bad things.
Veer, I feel like you must be dating an Indian girl who's putting all these good ideas in your mind.
I also agree that following religion and believing in God is a good thing. I don't disagree with that take. I agree with that heavily.
Do
I
we
just don't believe in God. And I also
do
don't think it's a necessarily strong mindset to say, oh, if there's no camera on me, I can rob. Like, if God is not there, I can do whatever I want, but because God's there, I can't. You should be able to independently and have your own integrity to be able to not do those things. To not do something bad doesn't necessarily mean you need to have a babysitter to teach you not to do something bad.
Okay. Do we all think God is a man?
That's my other issue. Okay, there's a lot of issues
I
I
mean,
have
in
with
Hindu
religion.
religion, there's plenty of female goddesses as there are
And
male
if you
goddesses.
read all the
gods.
stories, all the female goddesses portray very, very homemade roles compared to male goddesses. I believe
That's
it
true.
was in all the stories, it was like the male was even the evil person was a male, killed by a guy who shot him in the belly button with the arrows, all to like protect the female goddess in a tower, or like in a kind of very similar to Mario.
Gender roles
No,
are very part of Hindu mythology. That's true. There is a gender role bias where the male god is, but that's true for all religions too.
Yeah,
It's not just a
so then my question to you guys is, do you guys believe based off of religion that, women should be the ones at home and men should be the one hunting?
no. I mean, we've obviously not living that life. I mean, it's just of course, you take from religion what you agree with and what seems to reflect in your life and what you need. And this gender role thing is an issue. There's no denying it, but you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and be like, I just don't believe in God altogether.
But there's so many issues. It's more than just that, right? If we take it to the political spectrum and we generalize to more religions, one, abortion is not allowed. Let's not even mention the fact that LGBTQ community is completely left out of almost every single religion and have no sort of structure supported by any of them if they're not just completely violated by religion. There's many different groups that are completely discriminated against because of religion. But we're ignoring all of that because somehow we believe that, it doesn't matter, or like, oh, let's twist it. Now that we're in the 22nd century, somehow the Bible changed. We can add this quick verse that says it's okay to be gay, even though the whole rest of the Bible doesn't say that, right? It all becomes a matter of like perspective and what you're willing to push out.
Rich, this is the kind of things I've been saying to your dad for 20 years.
What the F? What is this supposed to mean?
I mean, you were the one who were like, we should do some religious things in this household.
I never said that. I'm not
Wait,
that
hold
religious
on.
myself.
I have a question to you, Mom and Dad. Do you guys both believe in all the Hindu gods?
No, I mean, I identify as Hindu, but I would not say that I'm a religious person. I've in fact hardly done anything. I do like the Hindu festivals like Holi and Diwali. They seem very
So
festive.
you don't think about God at all?
I don't think about God at all. Yes.
So,
That's
Mom,
true.
do you? What are your?
I believe in good karma. I believe in the overall idea that you reap what you sow. And that has some genesis in all religions, that you do good deeds if you want a good afterlife and if you want a good life at all. I was never religious growing up. My mom wasn't religious at all. So I didn't grow up with a lot of religious stuff.
That's funny because your brother is the other extreme of
My
religion.
brother is an extremely religious human being. Extremely. But he has his, like, he sits and prays all day. Like
No, but he's a
his
businessman too. He's not like
No, I know, but yes, he lives a whole life of building his life and all that. But his religion, like, he's not going to war over religion. That's not him. He's actually the most pacifist. Like, the worst thing will happen, and his solution to everything is, I'm going to go to the temple and pray. He gets a lot of comfort from those sort of rituals. Okay, maybe not religion in particular. What about, are there any rituals that you follow or that we follow as a family that could feel religious, but really they're just spiritual things that make us feel better?
We all knock on wood.
Yeah, we do all know.
Every time we say something that could be jinxable, we all knock on wood.
Bridge, do you also do that, or I feel like you don't do that?
I love Hindu like holidays. I love Hindu rituals and traditions. I like Rocky a lot. I think that there's some very good merit-based ideas of what we do as a community. I like Holi. I think it's a fun way for communities to get engaged and to learn each
What
other.
is Rocky? What did you mean by Rocky Bridge?
Like where you give the Rockies.
Rakhi.
Oh,
Raksha
Rocky.
Bandhan.
Oh,
Rocky.
Raksha Bandhan. Yeah.
Can you explain to our audience what Rakhi is really fast, Bridge?
Yeah, so basically it's a day and where we grew up, I don't know if this is the exact way, but this is how we did it, was the male siblings give this female sibling like a present to show our good grace and to show that, thank you so much for being such a guiding force and such a strong force in our life. And then in return, the female sibling gave us like
It's
good
saffron,
grace
right?
Yeah,
A thread.
saffron.
A thread.
thread that we wear on our hands.
That you wear around your wrist, right?
Yeah.
And now, of course, today the modern iteration of Rakhi also is that sisters give it to each other, or even friends give it to each other. There are many modern
But
offshoots.
that's not how it
of-
started. Again.
No, the original Rakhi is exactly what you said. It's between brother
Zara,
and
you
sister.
kept a fast of Karwa Chauth for most of our marriage. Maybe not
Yeah.
the last few years when you've been traveling and working a lot, but generally you did always, right?
Yeah, I did. There's one day where a wife fasts so a husband can live a longer life. I mean, the logic behind that is just, but we believed in this superstition. We were told this our whole lives, so we did it. It
And then
was
the question
just
is there a day where the man fasts so that their
No,
husband,
of course
the wife-
not.
Yeah. See, that's my issue though. But nobody, everyone loves to pick and choose with religion. It's just, this part of religion is amazing. I love the virtues it gives us. But all of this that's completely sexist and homophobic, we're just going to not talk about. And that's my fundamental issue.
I hate Friday the 13th. That's a ritual I like. Only bad things have happened in my life on Friday the 13th.
That's not really a religious thing. I don't
I think that's like
I
a American thing. I don't
that's yeah, but
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
that's across
Your
the
mother
board.
was asking about rituals. That's the one thing I hate. Friday
Yeah.
the 13th.
Well, we celebrate most holidays that are like like we celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
even
mean,
though
we
we're
get
not
yeah.
little
Christian.
tree and presents, but not Christmas itself. In other words, it's not like we're going to the church. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been to a church ever, except for a touristic reason into a famous church like in England. But I've never
Hmm.
been to a church.
No, but
Uh,
but Veer is right that we've celebrated. I mean, we've been invited for Passover dinners to friends' houses, for Rosh Hashanah celebrations. We've
Yeah.
we've celebrated Eid with so many of our friends.
Hmm.
We uh we don't really, but see, I guess we don't see any of those things as really religious things.
Hmm.
It
They're
feels
more just
more like a
community,
different reason to party and be part of the
societal.
yeah.
Although your
Yeah.
mother once at a Jewish school asked to celebrate Diwali because she had admitted you to a traditional Jewish school, and in an interview she goes, "Oh, so if I come and talk to your kids about Diwali, would that be acceptable?" I think that made the headmaster very uncomfortable.
True. She always tried to bring Hindu holidays into our like very Americanized schools. Like she always would bring the what are the diyas, the all the lights, and she would make books and fun quizzes for the kids to take in whatever how young we were, and she would make sure all the white kids and everybody would do it.
So it's turning out to be that you are maybe the most religious person in our families, Arna. You are pretty religious.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you were gonna say Veer.
Weird.
No, Veer is just talking about in the last couple of years having, developed this thing
But
about
I think
somebody's
what
always
mom is
watching.
doing and she's done is just really push the idea of like Indian integration. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's necessarily been more of like a, everyone should be following and understanding Hinduism because we learn that in school. Like that's something that you will learn when you grow up. It's more just understanding Indian community, what it's like to be an Indian, what do we celebrate, what values do we contribute to. It's more of that in my opinion.
Agree. Agree, Bridge. I mean, it's like I think we do the things that we do more for like community reasons, and so we can hang out and learn about each other's communities.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we did Losar for a while. We had a Tibetan auntie working with us,
What's a
and
losar?
the Tibetan New Year, the
Oh.
Nepali New Year,
Hmm.
Lodi, this North Indian Punjabi festival we did because of my sister-in-law. So it wasn't about like, do we believe in whatever the thing is that we're even Diwali, we basically celebrated by eating fancy foods and buying stuff, which is very similar to how we celebrate Christmas. I mean, we don't sit around talking about Ram and Ravan during Diwali.
Hmm.
But I do think that having a belief system is very important. I think having a belief system is kind of critical. Would you say that?
I would agree.
Yeah?
Like what do you mean by that? Belief
Like
system?
believing in something, believing that somebody is watching out for you.
But then isn't the law doing that already? The law of the land incorporates many good things.
Like what?
Like you can't kill people, you can't, commit a crime, you cannot like cross the
Yeah,
street when it's red light or drive at 90 miles an hour.
I'm talking more about like in a moment of crisis or in a moment of being tested. Do you reach out to somebody in your head and say, help me?
Hmm.
Like God?
Yeah, like God like spiritual figure, something. Do you ever in your mind say, I feel like this is going to work out because the universe has my back? You call it whatever you want.
No.
No?
I
No.
guess you're too young to have been tested, or maybe you have been. Actually, I
I mean,
take that
I've been
back.
tested many times. I've never like called out to the universe saying, "Please help me. I need your like
So
saving."
what do you say to yourself in those moments when you're tested?
I think very, very logistically, what can I do in this situation to give myself the best possible outcome, and then I go with it.
Did you said you stopped believing in God in ninth grade? What about K through or what about like fifth through eighth? Did
I
you?
believed in God, of course, but I only believed in God because I went through temple. Mom and dad believed in it, so it seemed like I had to as well. There was a lot of outside influences that made me believe in God. It wasn't until I
Okay,
really
since you
developed
have
my
turned
own
an
opinion.
adult, have you felt the need to go to a temple on your own, even for a
Not once.
touristic reason?
Not even. I mean, for a touristic me reason, I felt more to go to the church because there was often the more glamorized version.
Hmm.
And if I went to India, I would love to go to those big temples, of course. But
Mhm.
not saying I've been to India, but the newer ones.
So on your own, you've never had a moment of like, I wish I could connect with my religious roots.
No, I've never thought. I've never ever thought in my life, or since for a while, like, okay, I really hope Ganesh has my back here, or something like that.
No?
No,
Shalab, have you?
No.
Veer?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah.
You think that way?
No, I don't. I don't think that way.
Wait, what? You just said yes.
Wait, what?
I wasn't really thinking. I don't. In a moment of crisis, would I be like, my mindset is more like everything will fall into place. Like, just let it. Just like my mindset is the world will keep spinning no matter what happens.
Hmm.
Like everything around me is gonna keep happening the same. This is just like, it's not the end of the world. It's like the end of my world. Like it's just one thing.
Right.
I also
Okay.
think religion is corrupt. Human beings use it to their personal advantage.
I
It
They're trying
becomes
to
a
mean,
achieve.
safety net too. There's people who just do bad things and be like, oh, you know what? Let me repent. Let me get rid of all the sins that I just committed. And every religion, this has nothing to do with one religion. Every religion, people do that. Oh, let me do this. Oh, I just offended these many people. Let me donate to charity so that karma has my back. Let me do all of these things and like make up for it. But that's a terrible mindset. And it's also not. It's equally as bad of a mindset if you don't intentionally do it with the safety net either. People again, the biggest thing people talk about with religion is good versus bad, good versus evil. This is what determines good versus evil. But then many people I know who follow that commit evil so much that it's like, why do you keep claiming that you love this religion so much and that you're such a big part of it if you keep committing evil? And they just continuously do it. Cursing is evil, right? But so many people curse. Smoking is definitely evil, and so many people smoke, but they continue to do it. So it makes me think, why are you so intent on saying that without religion we don't know good versus bad, when with religion you are still doing the bad that's considered bad?
Yeah.
I find it to be a stronger mindset of my own mindset of saying, oh, I think this is bad because it harms me. I think this is bad because it harms somebody else or emotionally, physically. When I smoke, it's bad for me physically and emotionally, so it's bad. And I just chase away all those bad things. But I don't know
but
why I need
Bridge,
somebody to guide me into that.
you do yoga. You're part of the yoga club. You practice yoga and you teach yoga. Yoga incorporates a lot of like Indian religious words and things. Do you
That's fair,
ever
yeah.
do you ever think about the role that stuff plays in yoga?
Of course I do. Again, I'm not hating on religion. I'm not saying religion is stupid. I'm saying I love so much about religion and how much they're giving and how like spiritually how it can empower you, how it can bring your community together. I'm just saying that as a total thing and believing in its actual existence, I don't believe in. But I love their incorporation of yoga. I like how they make all their poses relate to some sort of Sanskrit word. I
Mm.
like that, it feels very empowering when you're doing it because it's like you're not just doing a downward dog, you're doing like a freaking Sayu Nachu, whatever. And it's like, okay, that's very cool and that's very fun. But again, it's just, do I believe in it actually existing and not being some sort of propaganda tool written in like 5 billion BC? No. 500 BC, obviously, but that's
Okay.
exaggerating.
All right. Shalab, any parting thoughts? Do you miss having a temple in our house? Because we've never had a temple in our house.
No, I don't miss having a
I
temple. In
I
fact,
didn't grow
growing
up
up,
with
there was
that.
always a little temple everywhere
Yeah.
in every house that I was in, and India is a very religious country. It's become even more religious passage of time when it comes to the Hindu religion. But
But
I
what changed your belief on God? You
but one
said,
second, can I just finish, Reed? But
yeah.
I
Sorry.
also don't want another religion imposed on me. Like in India, like there's somehow Islam has to be imposed into India or have to have acceptance, or in America, Christianity has to be accepted. I just don't want religion imposed on me either. I just want complete freedom to not
Mm,
believe in anything.
mm.
I hate that too.
Got it.
So countries that impose religion as a necessity of being in that country, I don't approve of that either.
I mean, I don't even know what those countries are because we don't live that life at all. But I do
No, but
know.
there are
Yeah,
countries
they
like
are.
that. Like
No, no, I know that. I'm just saying that luckily we've only ever lived in India or America in that way, so
yeah,
we wouldn't even know.
I don't like the idea of a national religion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
India
that's
is
very damaging
definitely
too.
India that way has succeeded as a secular country for ever since
Yeah,
ever.
I mean it's
And
becoming a little
I
bit
mean,
more.
I don't know if it's secular today, but sure.
no, you can't say that. No, there's nothing not to know about that. It is secular. Yes, there are complications around it, and people are fighting in the name
Okay,
of
but let me
religion.
explain the issue. Let me explain this issue. And I'll talk about America first, and then I'll say India. America's Constitution was written based off the Bible. Everyone around the time where America was founded believed deeply in Christianity. That was the facts. So everything today is still a reflection of all those beliefs back then because we still abide by all those rules. And the issue with that is that now, if you are not Christian in today's American society, you are now an outlier because you are not in full correspondence and agreement with all the rules and the way society was based off of, but because of the 1700s. And now you can experience things like racism, like people discriminating against you because they don't agree with your religious values, people not including you because they don't agree with certain stuff that you do versus what they do. Not because society is you're supposed to be like Christian and you're not Christian, but because it's still a Christian held America, right? As much as we love America and its freedom, it still has a tight Christianity has a tight grip on it. Whether or not you like Trump or not, he's a Christian president, and his entire base was almost fully Christian because they all
I
like
mean, Bridge,
agree with it.
you're making a big sort of leaps in multiple of your statements, many of which don't necessarily stand in commonly understood facts. I mean, ultimately, the bearer of the Constitution is the Supreme Court, and they reflect the, you know, judgment of the justices on the court and
But it was
protect the
written based
Constitution.
off of it was written off Christian beliefs.
It was written off of a desire to be free, right?
I
We
know,
With
but
Christian
but
beliefs in
he's.
mind. For
I don't
example,
think there's
for
any debate
example,
over
wait, no,
who
that's
wrote
like
it.
actually like a
Yeah.
fact. Yeah, like the founding fathers were all Christian,
I
and
mean, it's just
not
that
only,
the society at the time was a certain way, but it's
yeah,
transcended time to preserve the, the
Yeah,
freedom of
but
the nation.
even Shalab, even if you are right, what he's saying is also right, that the rules are based by those rules.
Hmm.
Now you can challenge those rules and try to take your case to Supreme Court and win or not, but the fundamental structure of the rule is based by these group of people who wrote the rules in the 1700s. There's nothing wrong
and
with.
not just that, but the people in power are still of that same religion, majority. Like the majority religion that controls the entirety of the government are Christians. Like they are the number one religion common to the people, right?
Yeah.
That's not just like a
But that's also true of the majority of the nation. So
Yeah, no,
the
I agree. I agree, but what I'm saying is it's not like we've completely like latched up. We're not like a free like a total free country and where any religion can thrive. In my opinion,
Yeah,
it's
wait. Oh, hold on, hold on. But that's okay. I guess that's where the breakdown is. Yes, it's true that it was written by the people you're saying. Yes, it's true that the people in power. But the democratic countries are. No one is stopping me from going to temple
I've never felt threatened for any religious belief in the country
in either India or
or
America. And
America.
even in India, we have friends who practice their religion very freely. Now, are there fights in the name of religion and complications? But I guess, Bridge, what you don't know is there are entire countries in this world that will tell you you are
no,
not allowed to practice this other religion in our country.
no, I do know that, and I agree. I first of all, I agree. I'm against all of that. I don't think that anything should be forced upon anybody except for just like normal good laws that support well-being. But the point is like even I'm gonna stand on my point. Actually, I'm gonna defend it a little bit because first of all, there are. Would you agree that there are certain religions in this country that are instantly discriminated against, and it
Yeah.
might be harder to be a part of that? Okay, so
Yes.
just by hitting that barrier means that there is some sort of religious like hierarchy, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's the first point. Second point is because of all those rules written back then, that have been upheld throughout time because of the majority of the country being one religion, those same rules can be reapplied to us. For example, Roe v. Wade, right? Roe v. Wade originally getting instituted was against Christian beliefs. That was against religion. But then the spark of Christianity has sparked again throughout our recent years, and then it got overturned, bringing us back to a more Christian society, bringing us back to those original rules. That's kind
I
of the
mean,
argument I'm
but
trying to make.
just taking one such, you're right, it's been a very contentious issue in the nation for over 35, 40 years. So clearly it's not one that we can debate and reach a conclusion on. But to take that one issue and make a common arching opinion on religious freedom overall, which is what it seems like you're trying to do, is I think unfair. It
Okay,
is very, very
It's his
free.
assessment. I mean,
I
it's
can
not.
bring other issues into this too though. I would say almost every amendment has been upheld. Gun laws, gun laws have been completely upheld to the original of when gun laws were originally written when the only gun was a musket that couldn't aim. But today, with all the new types of guns, nothing has been changed about that, even though the amount of weaponry and the technology behind weapons has completely
I think
fundamentally
the
changed.
topic the mother started off with is whether we believe in a higher power or not.
Yeah.
And this is a severe
Yeah, this is a very
deviation,
big sidetrack. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
from that
But
particular
overarching
topic.
point is that even in countries and where it's free to be religion, there are still religion grasp on countries. In India, it is definitely a more Hindu society, and if you are not Hindu, it's not that you're like discriminated against and you can't exist in that country. It's just not as necessarily easy as if it not easy, but
Listen,
I guess
it's
I'm
not
struggling to
easy
find the
for any
words.
minority anywhere, any
Yeah,
any
that's my
place,
point.
and that's not a
Yeah.
religious thing. Like if you're in a football team and there's 10 members of the team that are one way and then two that are another way, that the two that are the other way will find it harder. That's not necessarily a religious thing, but this is a never ending conversation. And I'm really, really excited that we opened the door to this. And I want to know what you guys, our listeners, our viewers, think about religion, where you are on the spectrum. It was eye opening for me, this conversation, even just hearing my two boys talk about it. As we end every episode with a round of good grades with Garg, so we are going to end this round, episode 2, with a round of which Garg gets an A grade from another Garg because they brought the winning moment in the podcast, the enlightening moment, the educative moment, or just a moment that stuck out in your head. So, who wants to go first with good grades with Gargs?
I'll go first. I have to give mine to Bridge. I think that the passion is worth a lot. I feel like I'm really happy, Bridge, that you're so passionate. Because, if you're not passionate, what is the point of life? Whether or not I agree with your views is irrelevant. But the fact that you've thought about them on your own and have a passionate view is fantastic.
I'm actually also going to give my A grade to Dad for two reasons. First being, I'm very thankful that you didn't, force religion or become a very religious preacher to our family, because I've seen families that have become very dangerous with that, and like the women in the family just weren't as capable because of the men's religious like intent within the family. And I'm happy you didn't take religion in that manner. That doesn't happen with every family, but I'm happy you didn't take it that direction, because a lot of Indian uncles do take it that direction, and that can become a very, very oppressive thing within households. And
Thank
then
you.
two, I thought it was fun. I like debating a lot, and I think you're challenging me, and I enjoy that. So thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
Veer.
I'll give my A grade to Baya too. I thought that your point that a lot of people that believe in God and the idea of good versus evil do the evil, and I just thought that was good that you brought that up, and it was a good point.
I think this episode, Bridge is getting a clean sweep because I too give my A grade to Bridge, because the point he made about religion excluding all these categories of people that exist and thrive and are good people is problematic, and somebody needs to update it. But I don't know how anybody updates religions, because that's not, it's like not an iOS update. So I don't know how that is done. But it was riveting hearing about, certainly eye-opening moment to hear my little one, my 13-year-old, say, yes, I believe in God. I didn't see that coming. um, I really, really appreciated this honest and open communication on this topic. And I hope that everybody who's watching and listening has their own conversations with their families, loved ones, friends, colleagues, whatever, whoever you like to have these discussions with. And I can't wait to hear who you think should get the A grade in this episode, what you believe. Like, tell us what you believe, answer some of the questions we've raised, and help us spread awareness of our podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can have more people into this universe. Share this episode with your friends and family members and ask them, hey, what do you think? And you too might be surprised by the answers. And so excited to have filmed this episode, which could have otherwise been very hot, very could have gone sideways for all number of reasons. But I'm happy that we had a very civil and fun and engaging discussion about it. And I can't wait to see you. Until next time, say bye.
Bye.
Bye.